Toaster, can you stop chewing on your bone? I don't know if you can hear him doing that because it is a little bit loud. Toaster! Hey everyone, it's Natalie, also known as Knitty Natty. Welcome to episode 81 of the Love in Stitches podcast. Today is Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020, and we are to the time of year where it is going to be dark or almost dark when I am recording, because now I am back to work and the seasons are changing. Today it's actually just a really cloudy day. It was kind of rainy all day. Actually feels like fall. I'm wearing knitting. I mean, all of those are good things. So this is going to be a great episode. It is a collaboration episode, so I have some fun questions to answer and somebody maybe new to you to introduce you to. So let's dive right in. So first of all, I am wearing some knitting today. I am wearing my Tanya by Caitlin Hunter. It is a really cute short sleeve top with some lace on the bottom. It's worked from the bottom up, and I knit it earlier this year, I think. I can't remember the yarn that I used, but I will have the project linked down below so that you can go over there and look at it. But it was a joy to knit and it's a joy to wear. I actually spent 5 full minutes looking for it this morning because I had kind of put my knitting away and it wasn't with my long sleeve sweaters and I couldn't find it, and I really wanted to wear it today and it was just perfect. I wore a light cardigan over it and I think the high was 70. I don't know. It was just perfect for today. Here in North Texas, that's all you can ask for fall, is for it to be 70 degrees. So, and today's the first day of fall. I thought yesterday was the first day of fall, but really we all started fall back in August, didn't we? Anyway, so this episode is a collaboration with Addison of the Ruby and Roses podcast. She is the dyer behind Ruby and Roses yarn, and I will have all of her information and links down below. But right now, I'll tell you a little bit more about Addison. I'm so excited to introduce you to Addison of Ruby and Roses Yarn and the Ruby and Roses podcast. She lives in Missouri and she has her own yarn dyeing business. She's only 17 years old. She said that she started creating and making handmade items when she was just 8 years old. So she's kind of always been an entrepreneur. Addison is so much fun to listen to and such an interesting person. You're going to love her podcast. Go check it out. I'll have everything for Addison linked down below. All right, so make sure to check out Addison's podcast. She really is such an inspiration and her yarn is beautiful. So go check that out. I have her links. Oh, and her episode is going to come up on Friday, or go up on Friday, but I'll have her channel linked down below so that you can go ahead and get subscribed to her. But then I will add back her link in. So if you're watching this on Friday or later, it'll already be there. Okay. Let's go into some whips. You guys, I'm really proud of myself this week because I have made some major progress on one particular whip. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is my Weekender Light. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen the progress of this because I was trying to hit some goals by Saturday. I am using Knit Pick Stroll Fingering in the colorway Jack Rabbit Heather. I'm still really liking the way this Knit Picks yarn works, which is exciting because it's a very, I would say it's quite an affordable yarn. I need to do the math and figure out how much this sweater is going to cost, because it's just nice to have an option that is more affordable. Of course, no handmade sweater is as cheap as just going to buy one, but that's not the point. The point is to wear something that you've made, right? Okay, so here is my Weekender. Look at all that progress. That was my marker from last Tuesday, my little pumpkin cookie marker, and I have made so much progress. Okay, so I didn't meet my goal, which was to finish the part of the body that's in the round and then split for the front and back. I did not make that goal, but that's okay. I mean, I had a lot going on this weekend, and so didn't get to make that goal. But I will continue to work on this, and I have some knitting opportunities coming up tomorrow. Not tonight, because even though it's Tuesday, I'm not going to my knit group tonight because my house is an absolute disaster Well, you can't see because all you can see is this. But I promise you, if you look around, we are like drowning in laundry, and I'm just gonna clean everything. I'm gonna do just like a late night cleaning marathon after this. Get my life back together. Tomorrow we will knit. Anyway, you didn't need to know all that, but it's going super, super well. I think I'm about 2.5 inches away from the being able to split. So I am behind now several days, but I don't know. I'm behind all my goals. It's okay. It's fine. But yeah, going so well. So this is the Weekender Light by Andrea Mowry. It is my first garment for the Fall Garment Make-Along, which is a make-along that I'm hosting on Instagram and Ravelry. I'll talk more about it later. But I really think that I'll be able to wear this year, which is really exciting. It's going to be a long sleeve sweater, so I probably won't get to wear it until later. Toaster, can you stop chewing on your bone? I don't know if you can hear him doing that because it is a little bit loud. Toaster, can you stop, buddy? All right, so I moved my marker on this and I am putting it away, and it's just been a really good project, honestly, to bring around with me everywhere. Like I've brought it, I put it in my purse, I bring it everywhere. I've worked on it during meetings because we're still doing some Zoom meetings even though we're back at work. And so it's been nice to work on that. My second whip are my September socks. These did not get a lot of action until yesterday. We were watching the Dallas Stars hockey game at a friend's house, and I was like, oh no, I podcast tomorrow and I haven't knit on my socks at all. And so I just knit on my socks during the game. I was right here. I need to pick out some progress keepers for these. And now I'm all the way up here. I don't know how far into the foot I am. I'm gonna have to get a ruler because I am making these so different. These are for my mother-in-law. The yarn is Sunshine Fiber Co., I think? Sunrise Fiber Co. Sunrise Fiber Co. out of Oregon. The colorway is Oregon Coast Sunset. And I am making these for my mother-in-law for Christmas. I had an issue where I made them too big. So this is sport weight yarn. I didn't realize that when I picked it out and wound it up. I only realized it when I looked at the label. I knew it was thicker, so I have my size 2 needles instead of my usual size 1 needles. And I only have 44 stitches on here. So this made the foot go really, really fast. And it looks kind of tiny, but I actually had my mother-in-law try it on last night and it was fine. It fit her well. So that's exciting. So yeah, I'm gonna have to I can't just go by counting rows like I can with fingering weight yarn, but I also will have a lot less knitting to do. So made some good progress. The other sock is exactly where it was. So I will have to start working on those. Maybe we have another hockey game tomorrow. Maybe I will work on it then, or maybe I'll work on my weekender. I don't know, but I'm really enjoying just the plain stockinette stitch projects right now. That's perfect for where my head is at. It's a little hard to do anything else with just balancing, starting back to work and just a lot of other things. So that's my happy place right now, is like really plain stockinette stitch projects. Okay, so on that same thought, my Incendiary Tank, this is what it looks like now. I've ripped it out. Okay, so last night I was driving home from work and I was thinking about my projects, and I was like, you know what? I haven't touched my Incendiary Tank since, I don't think in 2 weeks since I ripped it out. I haven't even touched it. I haven't crocheted on it at all. I haven't figured out what to do. So originally, put those away. Originally, I was making the Incendiary Tank by Stephanie Aaron. It's a beautiful pattern. It's super cute. Like, I still want to make it. It's just now I'm past summer and into fall, and like that's all I want to do. It's probably the weather this week a little bit, and then also just like having other projects that are making me happy, and this one is just not going, and that's okay. So I ripped it out the rest of the way today. I ripped it out part of the way to fix the like I'd made it too big, and then I just ripped it out the rest of the way, and I got to here and I decided I would leave this, and if I need it for my next project, then I can unravel it. So to me, that's all the way unraveled. So what I have here is I have 2 balls that look pretty full. They are quite different. This one is much lighter, so I'll have to use that helically. And then I have this. So I need to weigh my yarn, and I also have some small, I think I have some in here too that oh wait, here's another one. So I don't know, I think I have 4 full skeins of yarn. So I need to figure out what I want to make with this, because this yarn has tried to be 2 things and it has not been successful. Both of those were crocheted garments, and I'm not saying that it's because they're crocheted, but more because I have a lack of experience in crochet garments, and it's just not like the easy thing for me to do. Knitting is the easy thing for me to do, the more mindless thing. So I think that I am going to use this yarn one more time for a project that I know I will love, and I am going to start it on, I can't remember if it's Friday or Saturday, because I think it's Friday. I'm participating in the Pigskin Party by Boston Jen of the Downseller Studio podcast. I will actually link to her page or her Ravelry, whichever is better, to go find out information about the make-along. It runs from, I think Friday, the 25th. All the way to the end of the NFL football season, and you can make whatever you want. You can knit, crochet, I think you can even do some other things. And basically like every 100 yards counts towards your points. There's a ton of intricacies in there, but I'm excited to finally be participating for real this year because the last 2 years I've been a sponsor, but I haven't been a good participant. I would like maybe sign up, but then like forget to go track my stuff. So this is the year that I'm gonna do it. And you have to have new projects in order to enter them. So I think this is gonna be my first new project. I believe I am going to make myself out of this, because I love this color, guys. I love this color too with the purple. I love grubby pink. I think I'm gonna make myself a boxy sweater. I have a hot pink boxy sweater that I love and adore and wear like all winter long. And I've always said, you know, I would make another one. I just, you know, it's not like the most like exciting knit because it is pretty plain, but like that's where I'm at right now. And so I think it might be the perfect thing to cast on. And then I'm like no rush on finishing it. I can have it going all throughout the rest of probably the year while I'm working on my West Knits shawl, which is going to definitely be like more complicated and more looking at the pattern. So if I cast on a sweater that is very simple, that will be perfect to go alongside my other more challenging projects. I believe I might do the V-neck boxy. I was looking at it today, and it would be just fun to have a different boxy. But it looks like it's from the top down. So that would mean I have more thinking work to do at the beginning. And then once it's joined, I would have less. So I don't know, we'll see. That's what I'm thinking. Gotta make sure I have enough yarn, but that's what's happened to my Incendiary Tank. It is no more, and that is okay. So yeah, it's time for that project. You know what, if you don't like it, stop. And a lot of you could tell, even before I could tell, that I wasn't enjoying it anymore. And again, nothing to do with the pattern. It just wasn't the right timing for that yarn. All right, lastly, I have a project that is not yet casted on. I guess that one was too. But this is my yarn for the Stephen West Mystery Shawl Knit Along. It is called Slipstravaganza MCAL. It's a mystery shawl knit along. And I will try to link that below too if you want to go get more information. But it doesn't start until October 9th, and it is a huge 5 skein mystery shawl. So I went to Knitty Natty this past weekend with my friend Brooke and Rebecca and picked out some yarn. Brooke is going to be making it too. And we recorded a vlog, and that was Tuesday's video. So if you want to go see like, you know, all the process we went through and everything, head there and check that out. But I am going to show you my yarn, but I won't spend too long on it because I know some of you got to see it in the video. I brought this bag from the Yarn Crawl, North Texas Yarn Crawl last year that I got. I love this tote. I actually use it all the time for like going down to our pool and everything. So I was a little bit proud of myself for remembering to bring a bag so I didn't have to use a disposable one. Just one of the things that I'm trying to work on is being more like conscious of stuff like that. Okay, so 5 skein shawl, 4 colors because you have 2 of the main, and here is my main color. And the color, I think the colors are going to show a little differently than they did in that video, so this might be even better. So this is Sugar from Suburban Stitcher. This is my main color. It's a light speckled yarn with like a raspberry color. I feel like it literally looks like a raspberry cheesecake. It's so cute. It's the first like yarn that I walked in and saw because she was doing a trunk show at Knitty Natty, and I was like, I love this yarn. So I ended up pulling it for my main color. And then I have 3 contrasting colors, and they're all really on the lighter side. It's funny, I went through like a lot of different combinations. At one point I had like magenta. Anyway, go watch the vlog, you'll see all of that there. Look, this one's super similar. But these are my 3 contrasting colors, and I'll hold them all up together here in a second. So I've got another one from Suburban Stitcher. This is Bang Bang, in reference to Ariana Grande, which I love her songs. Then these 2 are from Long Dog Yarn. This one is Dark Dimension, and this one is Lady Almathia. Super pretty. So I'm just gonna, I'm a little worried, guys, I always pick stuff like, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm a little worried about the contrast of them for slip stitches. I think the contrast for everything else is fine, but I'm excited to see how it looks. These colors are definitely very me, and I've got the crazy pop of color in there. So I'm really excited. So now I'm just gonna, you're not gonna see it again for a while because I'm not gonna show you anymore until I actually wind them up and get cast on. So don't worry, no more West Knits MCAL for about like 2 weeks or maybe a week, I don't know. So yeah. If you're sick of hearing about it, sorry, it's gonna come back very, very soon. So let me know if you're also planning to participate in the MCAL. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Okay, now let's dive into some questions. And don't forget, Addison is going to be answering these questions over on her podcast, the Ruby and Roses podcast too. So these questions came from Instagram. I posted a little box and you guys got to put your questions in there. So if you ever want to ask questions on the podcast, you can do it one of 2 ways. Go to the Ravelry thread. There's a thread called Ask Me. Those are questions just for me. But for collaborations, I will always put them on my Instagram. I'm at Knitty Natty. And just watch for those. I'll typically do them on like a Sunday or Monday the week that I'm going to podcast. Okay, so here is question number 1. How old were you when you started knitting and dyeing yarn / designing patterns? So the dyeing yarn is definitely for Addison. I don't dye yarn, but I do design patterns and I do knit. So I started knitting when I was 13 years old. I learned from my grandmother. She taught me the knit stitch. And then I think that's it. She might have taught me how to purl as well. I remember getting a book from the library and learning some things, but it was a lot of like just pretending I knew what I was doing and making stuff up for the first several years there. So 13 years old when I started to knit, and I was 16 when I started to crochet. And then I started designing patterns, I think in 2018. So it's only been a couple of years, and that would have been when I was 26 years old. So 13 when I started knitting, and 13 years later, started designing patterns. Not that you have to wait that long. It's just, that's what I did, I guess. Okay, question number 2. What was your driving force to start dyeing yarn / podcasting / designing? Okay, so I guess when I started designing, I started out with my float tote, and forgive me if you've heard this story before, but I was looking for a project bag that would hold my color work for like stockings and stuff like that. And I just couldn't find a project bag that I could bring my color work with me on the go. So, when you're making a project with multiple balls of yarn and then you put them into like a drawstring project bag, they just get all tangled up. And so the first like 5 minutes you start knitting, you just have to like detangle. And then by the time I don't know, anyway. So it's like, color work was pretty much an at-home kind of a project. I had like this circular tray that I would use, and I would set like little metal pails on it, and I would put all the balls of yarn so that they would be spread out. And I was like, you know what? I think I can recreate this with crochet. So this is not being used for color work right now, but it is being used to hold multiple balls of yarn. Oops, sorry. So this is my largest size float tote. This kind of went into a different thing. So this is the float tote. This is my like oldest one, so that's why it's kind of scrunchy and dirty. But it is a tote bag made in various sizes. I'm sorry, I keep hitting my ring on this table. And inside there are little cups that are actually have magnetic snaps on the bottom if you want them to, so they can attach to the bottom of the bag. And it just keeps all of your yarn separated for a color work project. Now I also use these for like projects that have just lots of different colors. So when I do my, like now that I'm probably just gonna make a sweater with this, I will take all this out and put it in a regular project bag and keep like the balls of yarn I'm not using up on the shelf. But when I wind up my Stephen West Knits MCAL yarn, I'll put them in each of these little things for the float tote. So I guess all that to say that I started designing because I saw a need and I wanted to fill that need, and that's what I did. So yeah, that was the start to my design. And then I started podcasting because I had a blog and I loved putting stuff on the blog and writing posts, but it like wasn't enough. Like I wanted to talk more about my projects and stuff. And so then I did an Instagram TV channel for like several months. And then finally I went full on into podcasting. So just that desire to like share my projects and be creative. And it's turned into even more than that, because now I'm doing lots of fun videos, like I'm vlogging and giving you a yarn stash tour, and it's just become really, really fun. All right, question number 3. Where do you want to be with your business in 5 years? So I am really on track to hopefully make this my full-time job. So along with Knitty Natty, so that's, you know, doing stuff here on YouTube and designing patterns. I have another YouTube business, and so with those combined, I am really hoping to make those into a full-time career here very soon. Currently, I'm a teacher and I do love my job, but I would really like the freedom and the flexibility and the creativity to do what I want. So I guess where I see Knitty Natty in 5 years. That 5 years is a long time. I think looking back 5 years ago, like I had only just like met my husband and now we've been married for 3 years. So it's crazy how much can happen in 5 years. But probably I would hope that I am on episode like, I don't know, how many episodes you do in a year? 50 and we're on 80. So like episode like 350. Episode 350 of this podcast. That's crazy, actually. That's not right. I think I did that math wrong. Anyway, still doing the podcast and enjoying that for sure. Probably having some other elements to Knitty Natty that, I don't know, I'll be sharing with you very, very soon. And then just continuing to kind of design on the side. That's where I see it right now. But who knows? It can always like blossom and develop into different things. I am definitely interested in like teaching, so I might start teaching like locally, like teaching classes and stuff. We'll see what happens. Okay, number 4. Do you ever get overwhelmed when you have more than one whip on the go? If so, how do you deal with that? So I don't really get overwhelmed with more than one whip, but if I have too many whips, so whatever that number is for you, I do feel rather overwhelmed. So for me, I like to have one whip in each kind of category. And I think that's another reason why this Incendiary Tank had to go, because I had 2 like large projects going at the same time. And that was too much for me. So I usually have about 3 projects going. A main project that is a larger project, whether it's a shawl or a sweater, something like that. And then a small sock project. And then I'll usually have something else, like, I don't know, just something random. And then or a design. And that's something that I need to create more space for. So now I guess that I've ripped out my Incendiary Tank, I only have 2 projects going and some designs going. So yeah, that's not too bad, but that's about all I can manage. So yeah, more than one whip, no, but like you have to find the right number for you, and don't be afraid to rip stuff out if you're not going to get back to it, or if you like I really like the Incendiary Tank, but maybe I need to make it next year with a different yarn. You know, this yarn is ready to be used right now, so don't be afraid to be the boss of your knitting. Okay, number 5, when you see a skein of multicolor yarn, is there a way to know how it will look knit up? Okay, I think Addison's gonna be way better at answering this question than I am, since she's a yarn dyer, but I feel like I have started to learn what yarns will look like. So, I mean, one way is to just like look at the yarn and actually look at like the colors. Are they short segments of color? You can kind of like pick through the hank If they're short segments of color, then it's probably going to be a variegated yarn. Or is it like longer segments of color? Maybe it's going to be a self-striping yarn or a micro striping yarn. Another way that you can do this because of technology is you can take that colorway and that yarn and go to Ravelry and look it up, and you can see what somebody else has made. So that's a really good way to do it. And then of course the other way, like before you get into a project, is you can knit a swatch. With like self-striping yarn, it's going to change the stripes, but at least you can see the color order and everything like that. I've definitely been surprised by some skeins on how they've turned out, like my Halloween socks that I started last year that I'm going to knit again this year. I was surprised because there's 3 colors and there's 3 skinny stripes, 3 medium stripes, and 3 large stripes, and I was really thrown by that, and I don't really know how I would have known that until I knit it, and I knit it into the sock, and I just wasn't prepared. So what I'm going to do this year is I'm actually going to like pull off like lengths of the yarn and like kind of pull them together with their colorway so I can find like, I don't know if I want to start with the thickest or the skinniest, I don't know yet, but at least I can start where I want to, and then I'll be able to recreate that on the second sock. So anyway, sometimes you still get surprised, but those are the tips that I know to figure that out. So head over to Addison's podcast. Again, it will be up on Friday, and I'll have her channel linked down below, so you can go ahead and subscribe to her and, you know, get that notification when her new podcast comes out. But I am so excited to hear the answers to her questions. I think you're going to be shocked when you hear that, how old she was when she started knitting and dyeing. Really, really cool. So now let's move into some news. I have a new video this week. It is a yarn shopping / picking out yarn for the West Knits Make Along shawl vlog. So it's a really fun one. Even if you saw the yarn now, go back and watch that vlog if you haven't seen it. I get to show you the entire shop at McKinney Knittery and just some other fun things. And then Brooke buys some different yarn, or Rebecca buys some different yarn. And it was just it's a good little vlog. We did it as a premiere, which was a lot of fun, and there was a lot of people there. So that was really exciting. Thank you for coming if you could make it. I know it's hard for some people. I was actually in a meeting while the video was premiering. I scheduled it at noon, which is supposed to be my lunch. But we ended up having like a post-meeting about a meeting we had until noon. So anyway, I had it up and I was chatting because I just had to like listen. And sorry, I'm so itchy. And it was just funny. I was like, oh, well, just as my video ended, we like ended our post-meeting and now it's time for lunch. But anyway, that's what happens when you are at work, working life, working for other people. Okay, also the Fall Garment Make Along is still running. I'm gonna remind you about that every week, but this week we just finished off the first month, and all of those prizes are now announced. You can head over to Instagram to see that, or to Ravelry and see where the winners are. So I put them in Ravelry in the top of the August-September thread, which is now closed because now I have opened up the September-October thread. So if you are knitting on a garment and you want to participate, head over to Ravelry and chat in the September-October thread. I also announced them on Instagram, put them in my highlights, but they won't stay there forever. So check Ravelry if it's been a few weeks. And yeah, use the hashtag FALLGARMENTMAL on Instagram. Now, if you want to see the prizes for this segment of the Make Along, we've got 8 wonderful prizes. We've got yarn, we've got bags, and we've got something else really fun. Head to my IGTV, I'll link it down below, and that is where I announced and showed all of those wonderful prizes for the Fall Garment Make Along. All right, so now just a little bit of life. I am back to work full time, and that means like I've been working full time, but I'm back into like our school building full time. So that's been a little different. We have kids this week. We have kindergartners, and we've been doing, the car line and taking their temperatures and wearing a mask all day, and it's making me very tired, but it's been good, and yeah, I can't really complain there. It's been going pretty well, just keeping me super busy. I think you forget like the stamina that it takes to work outside of the house. It really does take a lot of stamina. We're also watching hockey like every other day this week because the Dallas Stars are playing. We watched them last night. We're going to watch them tomorrow night and Friday and Saturday. And the good news is I can bring my knitting and get a lot of knitting done, because if we didn't have those games, I would probably spread the other things that I need to do throughout the week. Rather, like tonight, I'm gonna get a bunch done because I know tomorrow as soon as I get home from work, we're off to watch the game and I can bring my knitting and get a lot of knitting time in. So that's just one of the many positives of that. Bringing me joy is the weather, because it's finally feeling like fall. I know it's probably going to go back, but it's been about 5 days, I think, that it's felt really cool, and it's tricking me, and I'm getting excited, and I'm wearing my knitting, and it's going to go back to being like 90, I'm sure, but it's really bringing me joy right now. I got yesterday I went to Starbucks and I got a pumpkin chai, a dirty pumpkin chai, because I got a shot of espresso in it, and it was really good. So I've been trying all the different fall drinks and just, I don't know, living it up, trying to make it super fall. So that's what's been bringing me joy. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to go check out Addison of the Ruby and Roses podcast, and I will actually see you guys on Saturday. I should have put this in news, my mistake. Saturday, I am doing a YouTube live. It is for the pigskin party, which I mentioned earlier was Boston Jen. It's her make-along, and I am sponsoring it, and I'm also participating in it. So yes, there's going to be a live YouTube video this Saturday, the 26th at 11 a.m. Central Time. So I will see you guys on Saturday. Bye.